You can start recording. So, I think Uzo did a fantastic job with the process map, and this is kind of like a continuation because remember that other one was supposed to be a continuation of process and vision journey mapping, and we decided to split it in two. So this is a continuation of um, that presentation and that session. So, hi, welcome everybody. My name is Ajelo Adeti, and I'm a business analyst. I'll be taking you guys through the user journey mapping for business analysts tonight. Myself and Uzo actually will be taking you guys through this presentation. And what user journey is, what it's used for, why it's useful, and its importance to business analysts. If I'll ask, just to, as we normally do, if you have any questions, please make a note of all of that as we go along. And at the end of the presentation, we'll have a session where we can take all our questions and comments and any other thing, because I'll ask that you please refrain from asking a question until after the session. So we can actually take that during the session, the question and answer session. So user journey mapping. Introduction to user journey mapping. I mean, what is user journey mapping? That's the first thing. User journey mapping is just like you have the process map. It's a visual representation of the steps that a user usually takes to accomplish a specific task while interacting with a product or service. It's what do I mean by that? It allows the business to see things from the user perspective. And I think I've said this to you, it's in binary business analyst as well. When you're writing, especially when you're writing user stories and such, you need to think from the user's perspective. So the user journey mapping is just complementing that, I'd say, having a visual representation of a user's experience. It helps you as a business analyst to see things from the user's perspective, to identify the user needs, and to identify pain points, and to identify areas of improvement when you're developing a product or a service, or in this case, you're developing an e-commerce website, for instance. So if you're looking at things from the user's perspective, you're saying, okay, if I'm a user and I'm journeying through this e-commerce website, what are the things that I would like to do? What are my needs? What are the pain points? And if you look at it from the user's perspective, you are able to identify all of these things that I've just said. And also remember, there's nothing like putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. If you put yourself in somebody else's shoes, that's when you understand and be able to empathize with that person, because you can feel the pain of the person. You can feel the actual experience that the person is going through by yourself. Why is user journey mapping important? It's important because it helps you as a business owner to understand the user's perspective, to identify the pain points, and then to optimize your user experience to drive efficiency or to drive the performance of the product or service that we're developing. Key components of a user journey map, it typically includes, the user goals, the actions, the thoughts, the emotions, and the touch points and the interaction points that the user will have when journeying through that particular process or service. And what are the benefits of user journey mapping? As a business analyst, it helps you, like I said earlier, it helps you to identify the pain points. It helps you also to identify key areas of improvement when you're developing a product or you're developing a service. So those are the benefits of user journey mapping. I think Uzo has done quite a fantastic job in the previous session. And I believe that a lot of us are familiar with all of these terms as well. So just to wrap this up, is saying like a user journey map is a powerful tool that helps you understand your target users, helps you to identify improvement opportunities, and helps you to drive strategic business decisions. So we'll drill into, today we'll explore the tools, the processes, and best practices for creating effective user journey maps. So next we have user journey tools. What are some tools that we can use for user journey? We have Microsoft Visio, we have Lucidchart, we have Miro, and we have Smaply. Did I pronounce that right, Uzo? Smaply. So
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, Microsoft Visio, obviously ideal for creating detailed flowcharts. I'd imagine that a lot of you have been using Visio to produce some of your things, some things and some of the aspects that you're developing on this project. I know some things I can see you guys working on Visio, so you understand what Visio does and the functionalities that you can get out of the tool, the software itself. It provides a wide range of shapes and connectors to map out user journeys. So another one is Lucidchart. Lucidchart is an online tool. I'm sure you guys are quite familiar with that. I mean, if you're not familiar with this, it will be worth just having a look, going online, doing a bit of a research and see what you can do with some of those tools. Lucidchart is a collaborative online diagramming tool, and the good thing about Lucidchart is real time. It offers real time collaboration. So, for instance, you guys, I mean, different people on the team can work on the same diagram or the same diagram at the same at a time. So, just like you have your SharePoint, you have your OneDrive, you have your Microsoft 365 on different platforms. You can work on Word, PowerPoint, documents, and all of that. All of you can work collaboratively at the same time. So that's the benefit of Lucidchart. Another one is Miro. Miro is interactive. Miro is real time as well. It's an interactive whiteboarding tool, and you can do brainstorming, you can do mapping, you can do diagramming, you can visualize user journey processes with Miro. And the last one is Snaky, which is helps you to produce things like personas, stakeholder map, customer journey maps, and all. I mean, there are loads and loads of different tools that you can use for user journeys, to be honest with you. There's Figma, there's loads of them, but this is just highlighting a few that we have. So what is the user journey mapping process? The user journey mapping process is a process of creating, the process of creating a user journey, involves several steps. And this is not set in stone. This is just an example. But the process of creating a user journey map involves several steps. And, what's the first thing is, defining your key scope and object, or understanding the purpose of the journey map and identifying target users. Understanding the purpose of the user journey map and identifying target users. So the first thing, identifying target users. How do you identify target users for your project that you're doing? You need to be able to identify the target user or customers that will be using the product or service that you're developing. For instance, an e-commerce website. Who are your target users? What's the demographic of the target user, depending on what you're putting out there on the e-commerce website to sell. If it's something that's targeted at kids, you know that you're targeting kids of a certain age, maybe 8 to 12 or 12 to 14 and all of that. If it's wellness products, you're targeting middle age. If it's products that's for the geriatric people, that you're targeting the older generation and all of that. So obviously you need to define and identify your target users. I'll give you an example. I got an e-invite to a party on Saturday, and on there they had like an Amazon link. Okay, buy something, and on there they were able to tell me, oh, this is for the party. The person was within a certain age, and they were able to tell me, oh, Amazon was able to give me an option. Oh, these are the different gift options that you have for this age range. So you can imagine, because they already identified the target user, they're able to even upsell and cross-sell to me that I'm. So imagine, outside of the person that is the user of the software itself, there's other people that are related to that. Me, that I'm like a third party related to that. Amazon was able to upsell and cross-sell to me. Okay, buy this for this person and buy that. So that's an example of being able to identify your users. Not all your target users are obvious at the get-go. But usually, as you carry on the product, you'll be able to identify more users, more users that you're able to target. So another thing is you need to understand the user experience. The next process, understand the user, map out the various touch points, the various channels and interaction that the user will have with your product, or like the service from start to finish. So going on an e-commerce website again, what's the user experience? You want to log in, you want to sign in. What's the experience like that? You want the user to be able to see other service or product offerings that you have on the website. What's the different touch points that the user will interact with that product or service that you're developing? Another step also is to identify the pinpoints and the critical moments and within that user journey where the customer might experience pain, might experience any form of inconvenience, and my experience confusion. You need to identify those key user moments and be able to visualize the user experience within those moments. Also, obviously, before you do that, or while you're doing that, you need to gather different user insights. Researching, interview, and other sources to uncover patterns and trends. Sorry, I'll just turn this thing off. Oh dear. An opportunity for experiments. After that, once you've captured all of this, you need to be able to visualize the user journey, creating a visual representation using the tools that we discussed earlier. Remember the Miro, the Visio, and all of the user journey mapping tools that you have available to you. Once you identify these first 4 key processes, and next, after visualizing the user journey, the next thing you do is identify the opportunities for optimization, identify opportunities for continuous. As a business analyst, you always need to identify opportunities for continuous process improvements. That's one of your key roles as a business analyst. Even when the business doesn't understand it, even when the business don't see those opportunities, in everything you do, you need to identify continuous process improvements. Analyzing the pain points, the bottlenecks, and all the emotions that the user can feel. And then next, obviously, you implement and you iterate. So visualizing the user journey map, key stages and touch points. I mean, Uzo will go into more detail in this later on in the presentation, but visualizing the user journey map, having that visual representation, I think I keep saying to you guys, having that visual representation, it does help to be able to pan out what exactly we're trying to achieve with anything. And this applies to user journey as well. Highlighting the key stages and the pain point that the user will encounter throughout the experience, throughout his experience with your product or your service. So what are the benefits of visualizing the user journey? It offers great benefits. Why do you visualize anything? When you want to write your user stories, when you want to do things, why do we visualize? We visualize because with visuals, you are able to, for me, especially me as a person, with visuals, things stick easily to you because we're all visual human beings, aren't we? And when we see, oh, okay, so this is what I'm trying to do, and you can say, okay, this is not in the right place, I need to move it here. This is in the right place, I need to move it about. When you put pen to paper and draw out what's like a plan, like a blueprint, remember, just like the analogy of you building a house. If you don't have a blueprint of a house, how would you know what you want to do? This is quite applicable to user journey and visualizing the user journey as well. It helps you to identify the pain points, identify the friction points, where users may encounter frustration or obstacles, allowing you to address the pain points even before it materializes and improve the overall experience. Another thing visualizing does is it helps you to gain a deeper understanding of the user's perspective, a deeper understanding of the user's needs, a deeper understanding of the user's emotions when they interact with your product or service, enabling you to be like customer or user-centric, enabling you to be able to deliver user-centric solution. Because if you're already putting yourself in the shoes of the user or in the shoes of the customer, and you're already saying, okay, this is the experience the user will have. This is from the user's perspective, you're already saying, okay, when I'm developing this product, when I'm building this product or service, I need to be able to put all of that in and be able to identify any pain points that the user might have even before we develop the product. Another benefit is optimizing touch points. Visualizing the user journey helps you to identify key touch points that the user will be interacting with, key touch points, ensuring that the user has a smooth experience. Like we always say, there's that saying that goes there, that the customer is always right. So when you're doing your user journey, you need to always have the customer at the forefront. In anything that you're doing, always have the customer, always have the user at the forefront, knowing that, okay, this is me, I'm a user. What is my experience with this product or service? And then it also helps to align your teams and ensuring that all your team members are aligned and they understand the user experience as well. So that's just the benefits of visualizing the user journey. So we'll go. Remember, I said earlier, defining user personas is one of the processes of user journey mapping. So who are these people? By defining the user personas, it represents different users, different demographics. So let's say you have a product or a service where you're going to have different demographics using that website. You have people of different ages, people of different occupation, people of different social status, people of different needs, people of people having their likes and their wants and all of that. When you develop fictional characters representing each of those demographics, then you are able to achieve more with your user journey and your user journey mapping. So, when you understand the user needs, understanding user need helps you to identify the specific needs of your target audience. So if you have your target audience within the user personas, if you have your target audience and you're saying, okay, this is user A is a college student, user B is a middle class, somebody that just started working, and user B is a retired. So you have different demographics. You are able to identify and customize the user needs to each of those particular demographics within the user journeys mapping that you're doing. And when you are doing the personal development, you just do your research, analyze data, go online, look at who are the different people that can use my e-commerce website, for instance. Who are the different people that this product would attract? That way, you're able to define who are these personas. So personas, I think, I'm not sure if you will cover that data. Personas are kind of like fictional characters that you develop for people that are going to be interacting with your product or service. So like I said, one might be a college student, second might be a working class person, third might be, oh, I'm a single mom. Let's say, for instance, you have a website and you're selling fast food or what do they call this meal, like Hello Fresh and all of those pre-made meals. So that one, because is a single mom, she doesn't, and she's working full time, she doesn't have time to make meals from the scratch and all of that. So you have a fictional character. You can call the college students, you can call him Dave, you can call the single mom, you can call her Alice. You have different characters, and that way you're able to, from different perspectives, create a user journey map for all of them. And using persona for your insight to guide your design and or empathy and engagement, alignment and focus. I'm just bearing in mind that I have only 8 minutes more, so I'm going to have to rush through this if that's okay. So next is your user actions. So what are your user actions? Mapping user actions. So remember that number one, what do we do? We have defined the personas. We have defined the users that are going to be interacting with the product or service. What do you do? The next is mapping their actions that involves what each user will do at each stage of the journey. So first thing, you're considering what are the what are the user actions. The user actions might involve, browsing products on the website, adding things to carts on the website, completely paying for things at checkout, and leaving a review. These are just a few examples of the kind of actions that your users will be doing on your website. For instance, I'm just doing that website as an example here. So what are their actions? What actions do they take? So we want to browse the products. So we are thinking browse products. I'm a college student, I'm browsing products. What are the products I'm browsing for? What are the products that I will be attracted to? Adding things to cart. How do they make purchases? How do they go to the payment gateway? How do they make purchases or convert? Do you get all that? Or how does that convert to sales? And then, leaving a review. What is providing insight into the user's perspective of the product that you're delivering? So next, user journey swim lanes. I think when we were doing, you guys have been using Visio quite a lot now, so you're able to see what swim lanes are and all of that. What are swim lanes? Visual tools that are used in user journey or any kind of map, to be honest with you. They help you to detail your user journey in a clear and structured manner. So user actions, for instance, what are the actions that are taken by the user? So when you have your swim lane in Visio, remember you have your swim lane, you have the user, you have the system, you have the organization and all. And what are the actions that are going to be taken within each of those specific swim lanes? Specific steps that the user takes to achieve their goal, such as clicking a button, filling a form. What are the different touch points, the different interactions? Is it a mobile app? Is it a website? Is it a physical location? Is it customer service? There are different, say, touch points. Those are the touch points. So that those are the kind of like gateway of interaction between the user and the organization offering the product. So let's use Amazon, for instance. I'm a user, I'm an Amazon user, and Amazon is the organization. What are my touch points? My touch point is going to Amazon app on my phone. That's one touch point. Another touch point is going to Amazon websites on their website apart from mobile app. Another touch point is going to Amazon Locker to go and pick my delivery if I'm not at home. Another touch point is Amazon delivering that product to me if I'm at home. Another touch point is me going to Amazon. There are different touch points. So when you talk about touch points, those are the things that you need to consider. Also, you need to consider user emotions, their feeling, their sentiments throughout their experience with the product or the service. And then identifying the different distinction between the touch points is crucial as well. Touch points, points of interaction between the user and the product or service at each stage. And then visualizing the user journey through each swim lane. What are the internal processes? The internal processes that need to happen within the system, that needs to happen within the system by the company that the user does not see, for them to be able, for that product or service to be able to deliver as it says in shoes. So that's the user journey or swimming. So user touch points. I didn't even realize I had this in there. User touch points. What are the user touch points? I've said it already. Website visits, what's their first purchase, customer support, that's post-purchase support, post buying or post-purchase support. What's the support that you have after sales support, for instance? You reviews, referring to a friend, account creation, mobile app download, repeat purchase, feedback submission, and all of that. So those are the different examples of the different touch points that we have for that we can have within that you need to think of when you're doing up your user journey map. So continuous improvement, like I said, as a BA, you always need to think about continuous improvement. Regularly collecting users' feedback to identify area of improvement, analyzing their behavior, iterating incremental updates in user journey map based on the insight. As you continue on the project, you are getting more insight. Based on any insight, you need to activate your user journey mapping, and then you test the changes. So what's the best practice for user journey? So best practice is for user journey mapping. So best practice is for creating effective user journey map. You need to be able to collaborate, involve different stakeholders, involve events in the mapping process, not necessarily in having them, but go to them, ask questions, just like this, you're eliciting, you're asking questions. How will this user use it? How does this customer do it? Ask questions, make sure that all of the stakeholders are carried along. And then be user-centric, focus on the user's perspective and needs. Focus key on user. I know you guys keep asking me, oh, I'm writing this, whose perspective am I writing from? The first thing as a BA, you need to remember and you need to have at the back of your mind that is the end user that is really your concern. Optimizing the experience that the end user has with your product or service. That is one key thing for you as a business analyst. So it needs to be user-centric. You need to keep it simple as much as possible. You can do as many maps as well, but make sure you keep it simple. Avoid complex map and make sure that it's clear. Clarity is key. And then obviously continually update the map based on any new insights or feedback that you have. So we've gone through that. We've seen the import. Okay, so that's it for me. I will be handing over to Uzo now. And like I said, please hold off on your questions and we'll take that after doing the session. Thank you. Uzo, over to you. Thank you. Let me stop sharing.
Thanks so much, Adelu. All right, guys, let me share my screen. I will take over from Adelu now, and we'll just basically do some live examples, show you some examples, and if we have time, we'll work on a user journey map. Okay, so basically, there are different kinds of user journey maps. There are loads. The first thing I also want to say is that a user is used interchangeably with a customer in a number of different scenarios. So sometimes, rather than seeing a user journey map, you see a customer journey map.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Hi, Adelu.
Yes. Hi. How are you?
Adelu, hi. We can hear you in the presentation.
I'm looking for my external camera. I can't find it. I'm having to use my laptop camera, but oh yeah, it's there. Yeah.
Hello. Adolu, we can still hear you with the intern's presentation. Awesome. All right, guys. So I want to take you through practical examples of a user journey map. Like I said, you actually see the two terms user and customer used interchangeably, but like a lot of tools we use, a number of different people in the IT industry use the same tools as well. So most people call them customers, but for business analysis, we have all kinds of users. It doesn't have to be a customer. It could be an internal person and all of that. So we usually tend to use users when we're talking about tools, techniques, concepts, and all of that. So different kinds of user journey maps. There's the user experience. UX means user experience. UI means user interface or user interaction interface, actually. So US is user experience journey map, and there are different kinds, which is service blueprint maps, user flows, empathy maps, experience maps. I have a few examples on my slides and I'll show you. So this, for example, is an empathy map. So it's based on, as you can see, everything rotates around the user, who in this example is called Jamie. So basically, every aspect of the different squares talks about what Jamie is saying, what she's doing, what she's thinking, and what she's feeling. So all this is to be able to empathize with Jamie. So that's an empathy map. She says something to a customer service person. Oh, I was expecting something different. And then she's maybe checking the website. She's thinking, why is this so hard? Like, why is this process so hard? What am I missing? She might be excited about the new purchase. She might be unsure. She might be anxious, all kinds of different things. So when you're able to talk about the user persona, and then you're able to identify what the person is saying, what the person is doing, thinking, and feeling, and your map kind of revolves around that. That's an empathy map. And you can use that empathy map to generate other maps as well. User flow maps, experience maps. Like I said, I'll share some of that with you. There's sales journey maps. There's a customer experience map, which is similar to the experience map. So yeah, and for that, usually for a lot of them, actually, you map out what the current state is and then what you want it to be, because the whole purpose of this, remember, is to fulfill a business need. So the business wants to achieve something, do something. There's an objective. It could be to earn more money. It could be they are getting a lot of complaints from their customers and they want to do better. In order to do that, you need to identify what the customer is, the whole journey. How can we make it easier? What opportunities are we missing? Where are we losing the customers because of bad service or because they can't really understand the process? Is really difficult, that kind of thing. So this is a journey map for a retail organization. As you can see, you've identified who the persona is. The persona is Janet. She's 59. She has some knowledge of technology. She wants to speak to a real person rather than interact with a chat box or search online or whatever it is. So I'd rather pick up the phone and call a new person, a real person. And her goal basically is very simple. I want a birthday present for my friend in the next short time scale, could be a day, a week, whatever. So all the first part of the bits there is checking the friend's birth date, confirming that she needs a present or what options, checking delivery, querying product, all those things are touch points, for example. So remember we talked about touch points. Touch points are, at what point does the user interact with the organization? At what point or at what various points does the user interact, and how does that interaction go? What is the user feeling during that interaction? Are they happy? Are they sad? Are they frustrated? Are they anxious? Are they satisfied? Are they just like, do you know what? Yeah, I'm done with these people. I don't want to deal with them again. So basically, you want to identify all the different interactions between the user and then the organization, and how does that interaction go? What's the process? So, for example, you see here checking friend's birth date. She's researching her friend's birth date. She's checking her friend's age, all those sorts of things. She's confirming the need for a present. Is that present needed? How much am I going to spend on the present? You can see each column has the customer, who is Janet. It has all what she's doing, what she's feeling, her emotional state. So she's exploring options. She's checking your website. Perhaps this is like an Amazon type website, and she's checking to see if they have presents for her friend. Remember, it's a specific person looking for a gift for a specific person within a specific date. So you're not, even though the persona might be made up, you're actually creating real life scenarios, and then you're walking through the organization's process and the way the user interacts with the organization, how that interaction goes. Is it smooth? What is the customer feeling? Does that leave the customer satisfied or not satisfied? Is there an opportunity to improve the interaction and the business process so that we can retain that customer, so that customer will say, oh my God, I really like this organization. That customer can even tell her friends and get more people, repeat purchases, so on and so forth. So if you notice how this goes, this is, like I said, it's a user experience, what do they call it, user journey map, and it's just showing all the different aspects. So that's one kind of journey map. Now this one is one I'm sure we all identify with, which is Transport for London, TfL. So basically this is their map. Remember when Adolu was talking, she talked about the importance of scoping your journey map, because if you don't, again, like any process, if you don't scope it and say this is what I want, the kind of process I want to do, you can, and have a specific start and a specific end, your journey map can be endless. It can be too large, too unwieldy. It could just be a lot. So it's important to scope what you want this journey map to say, and you can have multiple ones for different business processes. That's fine, but for each process you need to scope, where does it start, where does it end. So this is an illustration of a customer journey. Now TfL has signage in loads of different places all around for the different services, be it buses, tubes, the tram, DLR, all their different services, so they have different. Imagine someone in London and they're looking at the sign to see where is a TfL service, where can I get a bus, where can I get a tube, where can I get a train, where can I get all these things. So TfL already provides this service. They want to know if this service is effective, and they want to understand if it meets the need of the customer. So they've highlighted, okay, we have external signages when you, as an outside, to bring you in the ticket hall. There's signage to tell you if you want to go to this place, go to this particular hall, you get to the platform. If you want to take a train to wherever, go this way. So there's the ticket hall, or the ticket hall, you're seeing all the different what do they call it, the signs telling you what time the train is going, what platform, all that kind of thing. You get to the platform, you see signs there, all those sorts of things. When you're exiting, it tells you way out, or maybe you want to connect to another train, there's another one, onward journey. So this is just a user journey map of a specific service that TfL provides. So this is like a service map, like I mentioned. This is Starbucks. Yes, another user experience map. So they're so different. Honestly, there isn't any hard and fast rule as to how your user journey map should be. You just basically want something that hits all the different elements of your user journey map, and we'll talk about the different elements. So again, this is Eric. He's a repeat customer. His purpose is just to work and to buy coffee. So you talk about the first area is you talk about, okay, this is if Starbucks wants to give an excellent service, that's the enriched experience. It's above and beyond. The baseline is this particular thing. That's their baseline. That's the least they want to be able to do. A reduced service is the one below, and the reaction and the feeling and all of that. And then the different touch points. If you look here, you see all the different touch points where whether it's anticipating, he's in the office and he's in the car and he wants to get a Starbucks coffee. He walks in, there's a line, he orders, he pays, he sits, he drinks, he works. So that's the engagement bit, he exits. There's even a bit there where it's like, I even want to work longer, but I can't. You guys are closing. And then in the car, he's reflecting. Was that a good experience? Will I come back to Starbucks tomorrow, or should I look for an alternative place to get coffee and to work? So that's what this whole experience is. Starbucks they've gone beyond the baseline. They're telling you, if you want to give an exceptional service, this is kind of what we aim for, that kind of thing. So again, remember, we talked about the different elements of a user journey. You talk about the persona. Again, you've said all this before, so I'll skip through this really quickly. Which users are you targeting? Yeah. And that means creating a user persona will do that. Which scenario are you mapping out? It could be a real scenario, or it could be something you're saying, this is a possibility, or it could be an actual scenario. Then you now have to list out all the different stages of the journey, all your touch points. Okay, so these are the different stages, and then the user actions. What does this user that you've created a persona for, what does the user do? Remember, the actions and the persona have to match, because the actions are for a specific user, the persona you've created. And then what are the user's emotions? So what are they feeling? What are they thinking? Remember, what are they saying? What are they doing? All of that, and then the opportunities. So when you've done all of that, then the purpose of a user journey map comes into play, because that's when you can see what the pain points of your user is. What interactions are they not liking? Which ones is frustrating to them? Which one is unnecessary? Which one is, and you can see all of that. And your pain points translates to opportunities, because you can turn those pain points into business opportunities. And by improving that pain point, you've turned everything around. You've made the experience better. People want to come and use it more. They find it easier, and they kind of want to. Let me give you an example. I don't know how long some of you have been here in the UK and all of that, but there was a time, if you wanted to use a TFL service, you had to stop and buy a paper ticket. And then, they have a day pass, a week pass, all of that kind of thing. If they even had cards, then we're like, okay, no, this thing is causing issues. People are running late. They now have to go to off license to buy a ticket. Anywhere you're going, every day, you have to anticipate, buy your paper ticket. If you lose your paper ticket, God help you. And then you now have to keep buying it all over again. So it's not good for the environment. It's not good for the users. I said, okay, let's improve it. Let's create an Oyster card. And they created an Oyster card, which was a card that you could keep, and you just keep recharging. So you can even put money there. You can use it. The money is there. If you use it, you use it. If you don't use it, you don't use it. You could never do that with a paper card. They've improved the service. Now they've gone above and beyond that. You're now able to pay with your phone. You don't need a card anymore. You literally just tap your phone there and you can pay. That just shows you that they're continuously monitoring their service. They're listening to their customers. They're following what their customers are doing. And when their customers talk about the frustrations that they're experiencing, they're doing things better. You can never do that if you don't map a user journey. If you don't know what your people have, the issues they have, you don't know what to make better, and you don't know what to keep, because some experiences are even good. Then internal ownership. Okay, now that you've identified what the opportunities are, who in the team, in the organization, has the responsibility of making those changes? You have to identify that as well. Okay, so this is a very typical, very, very simple user journey map. There are loads of different ways to do it. People even use post-it to do it. But at the end of the day, you need to have a persona, you need to have a scenario, you need to have what the user expectations are, you need to have your different touch points, the different phases, you need to have what the user is doing, thinking, saying, what insights can you get from it? So from the interactions, what insights can you get as an organization? It's just like, what opportunities can you get? Or if we change this would be the result, and we can, meet this particular business need. And then internal ownership, like I talked about. So again, these are the different steps: define the scope, build your personas, all of that. We talked about all of that, map the journey. And then the last part is very, very important. And that's validating the map. Adelu talked about iteration. It's the same thing. you create a map. Remember, none of these requirements are yours. So even doing all these different things, you're not going to sit. A BA doesn't sit in isolation. If you're a BA that you're sitting in isolation and you're trying to get requirements from the air, or getting all this information from the air, you won't be a good BA, because you're there to meet a business need. So you have to interact with the business users. You have to interact with the user whose journey map you're creating, the organization, the business part of, you have to interact with everybody, get the information. When you've gotten this information, then you can use that to create your business map, and then that your user journey map, and then that map will now be used to make business decisions, because there's a reason why you're doing it. Yeah. So you have to validate and refine your map. They'll tell you, okay, change this, do that, and you go back again and you keep iterating and refining. So again, this is, remember, we talked about creating the persona. Okay, so how do you create customer personas? Some people um you do it from data. Okay, it could be data the company already has. It could be data from, you get online, maybe surveys you're getting from customers who are giving you, what their issues are, complaints. People are calling and they're complaining. Complaints are a huge source of, user persona, because and then obviously the information. So analytical data, behavioral data, all those are complaints. Analytical data is the who are the customers of this organization. You have to know who your customers are. What's the age range of the users and everything. For example, I was reading somewhere that they were like, oh, that Facebook, the average age range is maybe between like 40, 60. That kind of, like, it skews a bit older. Facebook majority, because the younger people are going to, and then TikTok again, that kind of app skews relatively younger. So their own demographic is within a particular age. So most organizations know who their customers are, the demographic of their customers. So you find out, you get that information. If they want you to create a user journey map, they need to tell you the demographic of their users. So these are our typical users. They are between this age and this age. They live in this particular area. They shop once or twice. They work. Some of them are married. Some of them are single. Like, they give you all those demographic, and then you use that to create the persona. So these are the different things you look at. What's their aspiration? This is an up and coming young man, maybe newly married, maybe single. He's not out of the university. He attends, he does maybe Friday night clubbing, whatever. I don't know, just loads of different information, Sha. You just basically get the different activities of your demographic. So their aspirations, their daily routines, what annoys them, what kind of language they use, what factors influence their purchasing habits. So all these different things, who are they influenced by? So all these different things are things you use to find out your demographic. So and then you now talk about I've talked about all of that. I just skip through. This is an example of a user persona. Some people based on the behavioral data, analytical data, some people make up personas, but some others prefer to say, we have a real life customer. Why are we making someone up? Let's get one of our actual customers and fill out all this information about the person. So you have the person's age, you have the person's annual income, where they live, obviously gender, and what their objectives are, challenges, hobbies, goals, fears, all of that. You can get that information, like I said, either from existing data, or you can conduct surveys or ask someone. For example, if the organization is an organization that is a customer service, that has a customer service arm, that's a wealth of information. The customer service arm knows a lot about it. If it's an internal user, you're going to HR, because they're the ones that have all that information, and they give it to you, and you kind of create one or two or three different personas, like based on the different users you want to, the different user journey maps you want to create. So this is just like a typical a profile of a user persona. Okay. It doesn't have to be a real picture. You can use a stick figure, but you definitely need a number of all these different things. And these are just some things. Remember that wheel had a lot more. What are their, you know, aspirations? Well, that's goals. It's just the same thing. People are saying different things. So you have all those different things, and you can use that to create your persona. And then this persona. So now his name is not even here. Let's say this guy's name is Dave. Dave is the once we say Dave, you already know who Dave is. I don't have to be describing who Dave is to you anymore. We have his profile. So when I say Dave logs in, you know how many times typically Dave spends 2 hours every day on online. So he's quite he likes technology. He uses it every day. So he's not new to technology. So if, for example, you're creating an app, you already know that there are certain things that Dave knows because he already uses technology. If is someone who is older, maybe remember the lady we saw, I think her name was Janet and she was 59. She may have some technical challenges, technological challenges. So your app cannot be too complicated. It could be something that an older person will be easy to use. So you're seeing how the persona influences your business decisions and influences the products that you create. So even though the business requirement says we want more customers, what kind of customers do you want? You need to make your organization customer friendly. And in order to do that, these are the different opportunities. These are the complaints your existing customers have. So in order to get more customers, you need to make that experience better for them. And then not only will you be able to retain them, you can get new people because they will be so excited about the new changes you've made. They will tell other people. That's how I found out about what do they call it? The example I gave you, TFL using your phone. I think I was my brother or something, you know, and I think I'd gotten an Oyster card. I was like, why are you still using an Oyster card? You know, you can do it from your phone, right? I was like, really? He was like, yeah. And I started looking around. I'm true. People were using it from their phone. So like, is that you download Oyster onto your phone? He was like, no, you can pay directly from your phone. Like he was so it made his life easier. So he's very happy to tell me, and I started doing it, and that's how I started, tapping my phone in London, and no one told someone that was excited about the service or happy about the service. Word of mouth, and because of that, man, this part taking my money like no man's business because I don't have to stop and get an Oyster card or recharge my Oyster card. I just basically tip. So that's basically how you use this particular tool to achieve your business goals or your requirements. So this is another customer journey map. Remember, now that we know who the person is, the user is, we've created a user persona for the person. Now we want to create a scenario that it obviously applies to our business. So, for example, this business is probably like a movie, maybe the Odeon. Say they're one of the, or IMAX, one of these, companies, that have that own movies. So whatever persona you have created has to interact. Remember, touch points with the organization and the service that the organization, what do they call it, provides. So our scenario is Sarah is going to the movies. She's excited for the night out and she will meet her friend at the theater. That's the scenario you created. Her expectations are, I want to have a great movie, see a great movie. I want the staff to be friendly. I want my seat to be good. I don't want to be obscured by anybody. So those are my expectations for the evening. Me, I would have even added very nice movie snacks, because why are you going to go and do movie and there are no snacks? And sometimes if the snacks are not good, it can spoil my movie experience. So I would even add nice movie snacks for me, but I'm not the person. Sarah doesn't mind. It's not an issue for her. So this is her process. She decides, she looks up the movies, blah, 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 blah. These are the things she's saying. Remember, you need to talk about what the user is thinking, saying, doing, feeling. Yeah. So you need to talk about all those things because that's where your opportunities are. That's where you can identify what the pain points are, and then you can get opportunities from there. So she looks up her phone, decides which movie, buys a ticket, and she's thinking, I wonder if I could find a closer theater. It's obvious that where she's going is too far for her. So is there an opportunity for the business to build a cinema closer? Maybe Sarah is not the only one. Maybe there are a lot of people in that area that if they've had a closer movie theater, they would attend the movies more. But because it's so far, they're not really doing it. So, you know, could that be an opportunity that Odeon takes advantage of? Okay, no problem. She drives to the movie theater. She stands in line, finds a seat. She's thinking service is so bad. Where's my friend? Is the movie theater arranged in such a way that if you're meeting someone, you can see the your friend, or is it so cramped that people are just jostled and moving and like, do you understand? So that's her experience. She watches the movie and she's happy. Obviously you can see the map. When she's anticipating is going up, when she's wondering traffic is so bad, she's going down. Like, you can see how her feelings are by all those different touch points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see if it's a good experience or a bad experience. And then obviously the good experience you can strengthen and do better. And then the bad experience you can find ways to improve. So finally I can relax. That's a 7. That's cool. I think that's a peak of her experience. And then, okay, now she's done. She's like, okay, where's my car? I parked too far. It's so late. I have to get up early. All these kind of things. So can the organization find an opportunity here to make this experience better? We've mapped it out. Yeah. So this is now how your persona, you can use your persona to highlight this. So all these different things here: decide, travel, experience, return. They're all touch points. They're all different ways that the user interacts with the organization, and then you obviously see how it affects her and all of that. So that's the customer. Now this is an as is customer map here. It's an existing one. So the first thing you do most of the time is, what is the situation now? Remember, as is and to be, you can't go wrong with them as a BA. So this is an as is one, and then you can use that to now create like a future state. This is a current state of this particular user and her interactions. Okay, now pain point analysis. Remember, we talked about all the different touch points and how the user is feeling. Now this is another John, this is Linda's, and Linda wants to just browse and learn. It's a government website, so obviously you want a lot of information. Government websites are finding out a lot of information. You're seeing all the different touch points here. You're seeing her activities, what she does, feelings, what she's feeling, what she needs. Then at the bottom, remember we talked about what are the opportunities. So you can see all of that outlined here. She's with her friend who tells her, oh, I want to look for grants. I have a business idea, whatever it is. She turns on the computer, Googles, blah, 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 blah. So you can see the flow of her interaction, what she's doing and how she's doing it. And you can see the emotions. So when her friend recommends going to usa.org to look for grants, she's happy, she's searching, she's hopeful, but even though she's nervous, she's hopeful. She's confused because there's so much information. I don't even know what to do right now. It's just so much information. So obviously her feelings are down. She finds something, her feelings are back up, she goes back. So you can see the roller coaster of her emotions. And like I said, the things at the top are things to strengthen and do more of. The things at the bottom are opportunities you can use. And you can see the potential for opportunity for improvement is listed out here based off of what the user journey has revealed for this particular user. Yeah, so that's basically for each of these examples, you're seeing how the things we talked about earlier are actually being put into practice and being used to map out the journey, list all the different touch points, areas of interaction, the activities the user does, the feelings or the pain points they experience, and then the potential opportunities for improvement, business improvement, thereby meeting the business need. Okay, this is another one again. This is Eva. She's moving to Amsterdam. These are the different stages, her inquiry, purchase, all of that. So these are just examples. There's so many different kinds of user journey maps. But again, when you hit the main elements, who is the user, what's the scenario, what are their actions, what are they feeling, what's the experience like, what are the feelings that happen as a result of that experience, what are the opportunities or pain points, what are the opportunities that come as a result of that, and who has responsibility for that within your organization. Once you hit those elements, you can pretty much do, like I said, some people create user journey maps using post-it maps and post-it notes. They just literally create a board and they have workshops, and people are just for each of the different categories, they create different personas, and then once they are done with those personas, they now use fill in all the different elements, and then they use that to make business decisions, or they use that to evaluate their business decisions. So for example, your dev guys or the business is okay, the business need is, we want to improve interaction with our online, we want to improve our online presence, we have a new app, and oh no, let's say we want to improve online interactions and maybe grow our online presence, and they're like, okay, we want it to start internally first and then obviously move out. Maybe this is a construction, let's say it's a construction organization, so they kind of want to have more of an online presence, and then the strategy says, okay, maybe we should develop an app. Everyone gets an app, everyone is using an app these days. McDonald's, everyone, rather than ordering face to face, they're using apps. Maybe when we have a really great app, the users who, like, remember, they're starting internally with the workers. Once the users start using the app, and then they like it, and then we can iterate and then maybe extend it to our customers and all that kind of thing, whatever. Remember, this is a construction company. Construction companies, a lot of times, they wear gloves, they use their hands are dirty, they use helmets, construction, and then you're now telling them you want them to use an app. In order to use an app, they need a mobile device. So how are they going to use that mobile device? Is it bringing a delicate device in a place filled with machinery that people are dropping different things? Or how are they supposed to use it with their gloves? Or even if they don't have gloves, their hands are normally really dirty. It's a dirty site, it's a building site, construction. There's dust everywhere. So is that the atmosphere that you want to introduce a mobile device? So once you've done your user persona, you have a construction worker who has his construction hat. There's noise everywhere. You can't really hear. If you have a beautiful pitch on your mobile app, he can't hear because he's either wearing earphones to protect his ears, or there's so much noise with the drill that he can't really hear anything. And then he's wearing work gloves. Even when he takes off work gloves, his hands are grimy and dirty. And is that the person that you want to be using an app? So when they're talking about this app, oh, the app is awesome, it's going to do that. You just say, excuse me though, your user, this is the persona of the user. He's going to be so frustrated if you suddenly take away how he uses things and you're forcing him to use an app. That's atmosphere is not conducive for a mobile app. Can we come up with something different? Because you have mapped out the user experience, you already know who the persona is. You can make an educated suggestion that strategy you guys are looking for, it may work for people outside, but for our users who are actually construction workers, that will not work. It doesn't matter how popular apps are outside. In this particular environment, with this particular user, in this particular scenario, you're just going to be frustrating the living daylights out of them, and you will not achieve your business aim. So that's how you can use one of these to, in order to inform, what do they call it? A requirement. And then the other side of the coin is what do they call it? Is possible where you can say, oh, because of this particular user, an app would actually work really, really great. They're tired of having to wait in line and the queues are so much and blah 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 blah. If we had a mobile app, the lady we talked about, what's her name again? Sarah. might be able to have purchased her ticket online. Her seat would have been reserved for her. She wouldn't have to be looking for her friend. She could just go to her reserved seat, 40A, her friend is in 40B. Her friend comes in, good. There's no need to queue up. If she's bought movie snacks, remember, movie snacks is not an issue for her, so she can go in. But even if she has bought movie snacks, she has pre-ordered, they know what time the movie is coming, they have everything ready for her. She can literally pick it and go. She doesn't have to queue. She doesn't have to wonder where her friend is. She doesn't have to think about finding a seat next to her friend. The place has been reserved for her. So maybe with this particular scenario, a mobile app where she can reserve and buy her ticket online and do everything online and literally just flash the thing on her phone. They'll just scan it and they're like, oh, go straight ahead. You've done blah, 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 blah. That would be perfect. That's an opportunity you can actually suggest to them to say, maybe a mobile app would be great in this scenario. So that's just a way to use a user journey map. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it because you can connect it to what the business requirement is and use it to actually fulfill that business need. It gives you so much information. People are not guessing anymore. They have remember, all these things is based on existing data. You're not making these things up from your head. You're using actual data. So if you're talking about Sarah or Eva or Lauren or Janet or Dave or whoever, they are actual customers of the business. So you can literally say, this is what our customers are going through. We have that information. They've told us in our surveys. We have that recorded. We know what their demographics are, all of that, and then we can plan accordingly. So pain points. Again, this is another way to validate you. What do they call it? Validate users. Again, I try as much as possible to get all the information before creating a map. If you're creating a map before you get the information, it's an exercise in futility. You just be very frustrated because by the time you do a map and you show them, they'll tell you blah 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 blah. Get all this information. You can just literally write out all the different stages and then use that. Once you have the information, you can now use that to plot your journey map, but you need the information before you create one. So again, this is just another template that you can use to literally fill these things in before designing all your lovely, beautiful graphs and colors and anything it is that you want to do. Talking about validating, I've said that again. I won't repeat it. Validating includes testing, user acceptance testing, all of that. And you iterate, you refine and you iterate. So that is I've all, because of time, I won't go back to all of this. I have, in talking, I've continually highlighted the importance of user journey mapping. It's a lot of times with a lot of these things. Remember, I gave an analogy about a business analyst a lot of the time. If you work in an organization that understands the benefits of a business analyst, you'll be very blessed. Most people don't understand the benefits of a business analyst. So a lot of times there are certain things they won't even know to ask you to do. But you as the BA, because you have all these things in your toolkit, when you're sitting in a meeting and they're telling you these are the requirements we have, nobody's telling you to go and do a gap analysis. Nobody's telling you to do a user journey map or a process map. Or you know that that's what the situation calls for. And at the next meeting, you literally tell them, I'd like to share such and such and such with you. Based off of the business requirement, I have done a user journey map. And these are the things I have identified based on our demographics and blah, blah, blah. And you present your case and people be like, oh my God, I didn't even know that was possible. In a bigger organization, some people understand the value. Some people don't know what we can do, and we can do so much. So you as the BA, if you're waiting for people to be telling you what to do, most of the time, you may not get that. And if you get that, they'll be telling you to do the basic thing. Maybe just tell you, go and do user story for us or something. Just go and do blah, 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 blah. An example is there's a lady in my organization. She was contracting, so she was like, oh, that she wants a challenging situation, she's going to leave, that kind of thing. They've been calling her back because this lady, she's, any project she goes into, she becomes the SME there because she goes above and beyond. So she was working in my business unit, but she left. She was like, I'm not really being challenged anymore. They want to make me permanent. I don't want. They're not offering me the kind of package I want. Blah blah. So she left. Do you know these guys went back again and called her and then put her in another business unit? So she went to different business units. So I was just asking her. This was like a few months ago. She came back. I was like, so how is, the business unit? Like, is it challenging? Is it everything you wanted? Like, man, that these guys, they're using her. She's worked with so many different work streams. She's created so many different artifacts for her. They're now same thing. They're now coming to her for everything. Like things they didn't even know they needed. She would just be, okay, let me create a process map for this. Let me do this. Let me do this. By the time she's finished, everyone's calling her, Olu, let's do this, let's do that. How about this? They're making her an SME in a business unit she just started 2 months ago that she hasn't worked in before. So it's up to you what you make of your profession. There's some BAs that are very, very quiet. You go there, we need you to create requirements, and you go and you create your requirements, and that's fine. You pass your appraisals, and everybody's fine. And there's some people that are just like, do you know what? Yeah, this is what this situation calls for. This tool is usually in the second category where sometimes they'll ask you for it, but most people won't really ask you for it because they don't really understand the benefits. But the companies that understand the benefits, my goodness, you will be they won't want to lose you. Let me just put it that way. It's really important because the organization is not guessing anymore. They literally have a customer with a scenario, with their pain points. They know what to do. And all that is required is for them to do that thing you have presented to them, and they'll meet their business requirement or not do that thing because of the information you provided to them. So it's very important. Don't think it's not as important as it is. And then, like I said, a lot of BAs don't really put a lot of the process mapping. They'll do it in their sleep. User journey mapping, as you can see, it can be a lot to be able to get that information. But once you do it, number one, the creation is sweet. Number two, what the people can use it for is so much. You literally use it to make informed business decisions. And that's what everyone wants in their organization. Yeah. So we've talked about the key steps and the best practices. And now we want to go to the questions. So do you guys have any questions for me? Once we're done with this, I'll show you some templates and how to create some user journey maps. Very, very quick run through because obviously time is of the essence. But please ask your questions if you have any.
Yes. Can I go?
Yeah, go ahead. And let me stop sharing so I can see people asking questions. I don't know who. Remy, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Yes. You talked about when you get the information, and I was going to ask that based on the different scenarios that you presented, how do you get those information?
Again, like I mentioned, you get it from data. Okay, you get it from the organization's data. So you basically get it from how the existing customers interact with the business at any stage. So let me give you an example. That's called behavioral data, but let me give you an example. We have an app that is provider online. So we have a lot of providers, medical providers. We have like a database of them. So once they've dealt with our clients, they send us the invoices and obviously pay. So in order to do that, they have to use the provider online app. So two things happen as a result of that. Most of the time, because you can either use the app or you call and then talk with an agent who obviously puts in the information for you. You can just put in the information to the app. Like, let me just estimate about 65 providers pick up the phone and call an agent and do it through the agent. Then of the 35 that use it, the complaints are so much. Like halfway through, they're like, do you know what? Yeah, a chat box or something I need help with. That tells you that that application has issues. So already the organization has the stats of the number of people that call them to do that process over the phone, and the number of people who complain about and what their complaints are. Because remember, when you pick up a phone, they'll tell you this call can be recorded for training purposes and all of that. All those, that information is information that an organization keeps and they use for many different things. It could be a store. You can watch your customers and you see how they behave. Maybe they go to the customer service guys and they complain to the customer service desk. You can get information that way. That's behavior. You buy something online and they tell you, oh, please take a quick survey to tell us how we did, how was our service. That's all. These things are information that an organization is taking in to kind of gauge what your response is. How did you think? How did the service go? What do you think? So that's behavioral data. There's attitude data, like complaints, all these things, or even people giving you good reviews. No, it's not always complaints. Sometimes it's good reviews. They're giving you good reviews. So that's the attitude. Oh, I thank you so much for your service. It was so great. Awesome. That's data. There's industry data, there's competitor data, there's analytical data I talked about, there's customer feedback, I talked about it. So there are so many different ways to get this information. And in the event that you don't have any of those that data, you can even create surveys. Actually create surveys where people are like, oh, we want to find out how banks do it all the time. What did you think about our service? Could you have a few, Microsoft, Apple, they all do it. Do you have a few minutes to complete this survey or this user research? Or there are loads of ways to gather data. It's not your responsibility to gather the data, but you can go to the body. It could be, like I said, HR, your customer service, whatever, that already has that data, and ask for the data. I want to see the demographics of the kind of customers we have. I want to see what their complaints are. I want to see some of all these things. Obviously, you do it with your PM or your stakeholders' approval. You tell them, this is what I want to do, and this is what I need to do, and they'll give you the authority to do it. So you're getting data. Obviously, their data is very precious, people's information, all of that. So obviously you have to do it through the right channels. But these are some of the different ways to get that information. And then once you get the data analysts, they're all here. Google Analytics, they are telling you what the users, how many users have come onto your website. What are the touch points? They'll tell you these are the sites they like. These are the sites that if they hit this site, they leave. Why are they leaving when they hit this particular page? There's something wrong with that page. That page is not user friendly. When they're on the home page, they're fine. Once they go to the maybe about us page or store, they will leave. So from that Google analytical data, that you can tell that people are fine, or they'll tell you how are people finding you. They're finding you from Instagram, they're finding you from Facebook, they're finding you from, they're just searching for you on Google. Those are touch points on how people are, how did you find us? Or a friend recommended me. All those things are that data that's so important, and you can use them to create personas, to determine how people use your services, to determine how they feel. Or you can literally ask them, what was your experience? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Were you feeling frustrated? Did you so there's so many different ways to gather data. Like I said, it may not be your responsibility to gather the data. It may be, may not. Most of the time it's not. But there's an there's a department or a business unit who gathers that data or has that data. And if they don't, sometimes you can even shadow watch people. Remember, part of our requirements gathering, sometimes one of the techniques is shadowing. So you watch how people use their job. You can watch customers. If it's a store, you can literally sit and watch customers and how they interact with people. Sometimes they're smiling, sometimes they're upset. You're seeing this person is in a hurry, and you're wasting my freaking time. Why is this thing taking long? You're just watching them, and you can see their behavior. Sometimes they're talking about it. So there are so many ways to gather data. Yeah, but this is the kind of information you need online. Sometimes you pay. There are companies that gather data and sell to organizations, so you can gather data that way. So there are many different ways to do it. Yeah, I hope that answered your question. Jack, go ahead.
Yeah, quick one. Yeah,
Sure.
like amazing presentation. I think both you covered a lot of ground, right?
Thank
But
you.
I'm still very much confused in terms of first this whole process, right? So at what point? So I've got two questions, and it's probably like a loaded question. So at what point, right, do you create this? So if the product owner is giving you the requirements for you to write up, right? Can you give us for example, right? So you've given us the mandate for the long reach project. I don't know whether or not the other teams got the same similar name. So if you was given that mandate, right, and you're the BA, at what point do you start putting all this together? If you get the requirements from the PR, I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that does. Okay, so that's the one question. I'll answer that before you answer my second question. Before you ask me the second question, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. So again, it's up to you. Sometimes it's not. Like, okay, for example, your PO just wants the requirements to be done. Remember, I talked about the fact that as a BA, you have a toolkit. Yeah. Let me give an example. Yeah, I don't want to use long range because, again, even with our examples, we don't use your current project. It's cheating in quote. So use this and apply it because you should be able to understand the concept well enough to be able to apply to whatever project you're in. So we always give examples with not with your existing projects. Yeah. So I'm going to sidestep that, but I just want to kind of give an example of a different I'm sure you're going to learn it a bit later. So I was in this particular project and we just kept having issues where we need policies. So we needed a data policy, we needed a governance policy, we needed privacy policy, a lot of different policies. This is a big organization. And for almost every policies we got a type. It wasn't really suited to what we had. Or maybe someone will say, yes, we have it. And then on some of them, they'll say, no, we don't have that policy. Or maybe when they say, yes, we have it, we'll look at the policy and it's not really what we want. So we'll go back again. So there's so many questions about, these are all the different policies or documentation we need for this project. And we don't know if these exist or if we have to create them. My product owner did not have to tell me to do a gap analysis. She did not have to do that. With my BA knowledge, I knew that this situation calls for a gap analysis. So I went and did a gap analysis. And at the next meeting, I said, guys, the same issue. Okay, so we've been asking for this. We haven't gotten, we're asking for this. I went back. I said, I've met with such and such and such and such. And they've given me the repository of all the documents the organization have. I've looked through all those documents. These are all the documents they have. These are all the documents we need. This one is missing. This one needs to be updated. This one needs to be. Nobody asked me. But there was a need I saw. And I went and did. I reached into my BA toolkit because I knew how to do a gap analysis. They don't have to ask you. And that was the end of it all. The next time they were like, okay, where do we get this? It's not existing. We have to create it. The conversation automatically moved. Nobody patted me on the back and said, oh, well done, Uzo. I just did my job. But there was no more discussion about what does the organization have? What does the organization have? Oh, this is it, this is not it, this is. We were literally, there were links, we're literally opening up the document to say, oh yeah, okay, this is it, this matches it, fine, done. No, this is not quite it. No, we have to create our own. The project just moved on. That's what a BA does. So sometimes they can tell you that a lot of times they told me, we need a process map for this. I've done 10 process maps. It's okay, can we have one more process map for this particular process? That's different. Do you understand? So a lot of times as a BA, you may get a PO or a manager or a project manager, whatever it is, that can ask you to do some of these things. But sometimes they don't know these things. If they did, they will be the BAs. They just know that they have a problem. And it is within your knowledge as a BA to say, this particular tool will solve this problem. root cause analysis. They know that something went wrong, but everybody's coming up with different, is it this, is it this, is it this, is it? Once you, as nobody's going to tell you to go and do a root cause analysis, you go and you do it, and you get meetings with people and you get information from them. Then at the next time you say, this is the problem, and I met with this particular person and this is what they said. Before you know it, you're able to trace what that problem is. All that will happen in our meetings, they'll take action from there and move on. Nobody's going to pat you in the back and say, "Ah, well done, you did." No. So a lot of the tools we give you, you as the BA, because you understand what the tool does, when you're faced with a situation that calls for that tool, you do it. You can discuss it. If your PM knows a bit about business or knows about business, you can even discuss it with them. This is what I'd like to do. And they can give you the go ahead, or they can tell you, oh no, it's a waste of time. Don't do that, blah, 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 blah. But if they don't, you could just do it and then show it to them and tell them, and it solves the problem. And they'll just move on because they're not on that problem anymore. I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about. So understand the technique, understand the tool, understand the purpose, understand how to do it. Once you understand it and you're faced with a situation that calls for it, nobody will tell you that now is the time to do a user journey map. People are having conversations about users. Oh, who are our users? We want to know who they are. We want to understand how, and they're just talking. You're in a meeting. Nobody's going to tell you this calls for a user journey map. You know that thing that they're saying they have a problem with, this tool will solve it. Remember the analogy I gave you about the plumber. All the house owner knows is that my tap is leaking. I don't know whether it's the faucet. I don't know whether it's the pipe. I don't know whether it's the plumber who comes in that will investigate and say, okay, I need a wrench. I need a spanner. I need to check. They are the ones that will recommend. They'll do their investigative work based on the tools they have. And then they'll say, this is the problem. This is the solution. So you don't expect the people that you're providing a service for to know the same tools you know. If they knew what you knew, they won't need you. So that's my point. That's your way to show your value. If you're still waiting for people to be telling you this is what you need at this point, then you're a young BA, that's fine. But once you understand what the purpose is, then you even be the one. Sometimes you don't even need to suggest it to them. You go and do it, solve the problem, and present it to them and tell them, I was able to do such and such and such and such. And then that's it. So I hope I've answered your question without really answering your question. Because once you focused on the understanding what the tool does, you will be able to recognize a situation that requires that tool. And it's not another tool, it's this particular one, because it's not a process map. So if someone tells you we need a process map, you could tell them, actually, a user journey map might actually be better, because a user journey map goes beyond the process. It goes to the user, it goes to the interaction, it goes to the experience, it goes to finding out what their pain points are. And from that, we can actually get, internal opportunities and all of that. And you can go above and beyond. So I hope I answered your question with, I know I didn't give you the example you wanted, but that was deliberate. But I hope I answered your question in a roundabout way.
Yeah, thank you. I think I need to rewatch it and just see individual research because
you do. And there's no way we can finish everything. There is a lot. Trust me, the more you read, the more you'll see. The one of the images I gave you is the BCS image on customer journey maps. IIBA have theirs, so if you read a lot of that concept, read a bit more. It'll give you, and then try your hand at it. You can, now that you know what project you're working on, right? It's a greenfield project. So there's no current state for a user journey map, but there's a future state, because we need to know what the customer experience would be like in order to make it better. So you on your own, you can map out the user journey map for this particular project you're working on. Yeah, from the information you have, create a persona of the people you believe will be able to take advantage of that particular. I don't want to, but you can use the information you have and create a user journey map. Just understand the process, and then whatever project you're working on, as long as there's a user, remember it's not a customer, although they're customers. People say customer journey map, even BCSS customer journey map, but we prefer user journey map. Once there's a user, you can create a user journey map. Okay. Felicia, go ahead.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Joseph.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the concept of user persona and the scenario is where I want to seek some clarification on.
Okay.
With persona, with the little I have gotten even in this project, it has to be a form of template. But I also found out that personas can be worded like in iteratively, like up and down. It can come from the way you view the persona and just write it out rather than having a pictorial. I've tried my hand on Extensio, but I'm getting a little bit confused, despite the fact that most of the goals, all those subheadings, I can put it down while writing it down, but transcribing it into the template, into most templates that I've seen, is kind of giving me a kind of issue. So I want to know whether the standard practice to work with a template rather than having it written down.
When you say written down, I'm not sure, because most of our artifacts are online, like they're I don't know how to put, they're not written, they're on the system. So we actually have documents. So I don't know if you're asking, let me try and state what I understand by your question, and then if I have it right, then fine. You're asking if it's, the different tools that we gave, is it necessary to use all of that razzmatazz and do all of that, or can a simple template do, as long as you have the main information that is required? Is that something?
Yeah, close to what I'm thinking.
Okay. Because you said written down, and very little is written down. Like, it's written down for your benefit, but once you want to share it with someone, you have to create a document. So that's why I'm a bit thrown off by the written down bits that you mentioned.
Yeah, okay. What I mean by written down, it's about when you document it in paragraphs, numbers, or trying to put them in pictorial evidence of something that can be viewed in one page rather than like you have it listed in almost 3 pages. That's what I mean.
Got you. All right, cool. Remember, a user journey map is a visualization of the information. If you don't have a visual representation of it, then it's no longer a user journey map. You're just putting information in documents. So once it's visualized, then it's a user journey map. The visualization has to be there. Otherwise, you have that information in a document form, and usually you should have that information in document form, because it's based on all that information you have in a document form that you now create the visualization. But remember, a lot of senior stakeholders, they don't have the time to go through a 3-page, 4-page, 5-page document. They will never have that time. But because you've put that information in a visual format, they can get a snapshot, a quick look at some of the ones we saw. Some of the emotions were just frowny emojis. Frowny face, happy face. Some of it was green, some of it was brown. I don't have to write they're unhappy with our product. You can see the red emoji there that is below the line of satisfaction. I don't have to tell you anything else. So that's why visualization as an IT professional, as a BA, is very, very important. No one's going to read your long document. when you've given them that information and they want further information, then you can now say this is the accompanying document. If you want further information, all that information I got from here, I didn't pluck it from the air. So a lot of times when you give them the visualization, you usually send the accompanying document. But once they're satisfied that you're using the correct information and there's a correct visualization of it that you show them, most people don't have the time to read all of that. So the skill is knowing how to condense 4, 5, 10, 20, 50 pages in a few pictorial representations. Just visualize, put it in a way that, look at the different columns. If you're going to write all those things, man, it'll be too much. No one has that time. Yeah, so that's why we learn this skill. Otherwise, the documentation will do. I hope that answered your question.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Ijoma, go ahead.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
My question is coming from the user story. For a startup company that only knows where it is headed and the service it intends to give, or at least what the output is supposed to be, there's no process on ground, there's no customer in actual sense, so there's no place to go and get data. Is it okay to maybe analyze their competitors, find out the kind of customers that visit them or the customers that patronize the business, and form personas and scenarios from that angle? Also, I was thinking in my head, like, how do you identify pain points when there's no existing process on ground?
So absolutely awesome, Ijoma. Your first question was brilliant. Remember, one of the sources of data is competitor data, industry data. So even though you're coming in, you haven't started yet, you're coming into an existing industry, and there are other people in that market that are doing what you want them to do. Even if your service is relatively innovative, it still stems from an existing service that people are used to. So that is a perfect way to get the data you need for your user persona and all the different, the scenario, all those sorts of things, because you want to provide a service. So this is what you envision it would look like. So that would be your scenario. This is what you want it to look like. This is what you're creating it to look like. So, your user comes in, they do this, they do that. Just like we're writing user stories, the user doesn't exist, but we want a situation that by the time we're done developing, the user will be able to do A, B, C, D, E. And that's what we want to create. So I love your first question. Exactly right. You understand the concept, and I'm so happy you asked that question, because it just showed me that you understand. You asked the question and answered it for yourself. So that's brilliant. So for the second question you asked about pain points. So because the persona you're working with, it'll be easy to anticipate what their pain points will be. For example, remember the example I gave with the construction worker and all of that. Once I understood the construction, this is a construction agency, this is who the persona is, this is what they typically do, this is the outfit they wear, this is their environment, and I know what the business requirement is to create an app. The app didn't exist, they were still trying to create it. I already know that if you introduce an app to that situation, you're going to cause frustration, because the environment is not conducive for using an app. The equipment they wear is not conducive for using an app. They can't, nothing. So I don't have to wait for the app to be created to say, this is going to be a pain point. It's going to be a source of frustration. An older woman doesn't really like technology, and you've created something that is gamification, like all these you have to go and create your own avatar, and you have to do for who? A 60-year-old woman that wants to find out where her grandkids are. You frustrate her. She doesn't understand what that is. That kind of thing is better for a younger demographic, that they do they create avatars and they use all kinds of different VCR. They basically want to be in the game and they can create their virtual world. Fantastic. So I don't have to wait for that situation to occur. Once I know the persona, I know what their hopes and dreams are, I know what their goals are, I know what their habits are, I know what they do. I can understand. The person is a human being. So once you understand all those different things, then you can place that person in the imagined scenario and find out whether that person with those kind of needs, habits, knowledge will function well in that situation, or if they'll have issues. So it may not be perfect, but because you have a detailed persona and you know what the scenario is, you can literally put them together and anticipate that this would be a problem. Okay, see, for example, the example I gave with Sarah, who is going to the movies. She didn't have to tell me that looking for her friend is an issue. I already know that if you're waiting to hook up with your friend and the movie is about to start, you don't want to be looking around with it's. If I put myself in Sarah's shoes, I remember we talked about an empathy map. If you put yourself in those shoes, you can empathize, you can sympathize, you can feel what that person will feel in that particular situation. So even though you don't have the specific data, that's behavioral data or attitude data, because that's the one that will tell you this is how they have behaved in this situation. You only maybe have competitor data or industry data or whatever. You can use that to anticipate and put that user in a scenario and say, based on what this person would normally do in this situation, we believe that this particular person will act this particular way. This will be a source of joy, or this will be a source of frustration to the person. So I hope that answered your question.
Yes, it did. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Awesome. Okay, I have 15 minutes. If anyone has any question, let me know. If not, I want to show you guys very, very quickly 2 templates, just very quickly. 2 templates where you can create user journey maps. Any other questions for me? Okay, I want us to leave here by 10. So before 10, sorry, so we can make sure Remy gets to his, what he wants to do. So I'll share my screen again. I'll show you 2. One is Miro, the other is Canva. We didn't talk about Canva, but if you go online, you see there are loads of different tools you can use to create user journey maps. I don't really like using Visio. In fact, I don't think I've ever used Visio to create a user journey map. If you know how to use Visio, you know that it tends better towards a process map than a user journey map, simply because of all the different things you can. It's not possible, but it's just a bit fiddly, and they're better, more intuitive tools. So I'm going to go and do stuff ahead and try and make Miro do something. Visio do something that it may not be perfect. It's perfect for process maps. I don't use any other tool for process maps. I love Visio for process maps, but for user journey maps, because of how it works, it doesn't really do it for me. So I use other tools. We talked about Smapely, and there's one called Expressive or something. There's Figma. I think FigJam. Figma has what do they call it? A product that is very, very good for user journey maps or customer journey maps. So I'll just share my screen with you guys really quick and show you the 2 different. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right, awesome. So this is Canva. Was it Felicia Felicia, you were the one that was asking about the documentation and the and doing all of this, right?
Yes.
There's some tools that make it easy for you, honestly. Like if you're struggling to do a user journey map, then you haven't picked the right tool. Look at what Canva has done. You've literally gone ahead and created everything for you. Firstly, this is your persona. So you all you have to do is fill in all these different sections. It's literally created it for you. I don't want to call it a customer map. I want to call it a user map. So I can change a user journey map. Sorry. So I can change this. So honestly, it shouldn't be any issue for you. You have, if you're working with people, it's very, very collaborative as well. So you can give everyone access to this particular board, and you can get them to create stick-it notes. And for example, so when we say, okay, let's call this lady Jane, and people are telling you, again, if you want to use the data you have to create a persona, and the persona is fictional, you can just get people to suggest all the different things. Okay, based on her age, these are her goals, all of that. Because we didn't talk about the fact that one of the ways you can work on a user journey map is through a workshop. You get different stakeholders together and they'll provide the information you need. So you probably get someone that has the attitude or behavioral data. You have someone that has analytical data. They can provide it for you. And in the workshop, they'll just supply you with all the information you need rather than you pouring through all the data they have. They'll just literally tell you, these are what her goals are. You type it in, or they can create, post-it notes and put it there. So someone will write it and put it there. When they're done, you can take the information and make it nicer. So this is this is just one template. There are loads of different templates that Canva has. This is just one. And the other one I wanted to show you is Miro. Okay. Oh no. Okay, so this is actually went on. Let me do this for Miro. All right, cool. So Miro, this is your Miro board. You have a free access to it, and it gives you some of these things. You can, I don't know if I know during your last demo, some people created mind maps, so it has all of that. You click on show all. It can show you all the different things. You can search for a user journey map, or you can scroll down the customer journey map. I want to use this one. All right, cool. Let me use this one. So it's fine. All right. So this is their own version as well. Oh, I'm missing some things here. There was a face that was here. I wonder what happened to the face. There was a face that was here. Where's my face? Can you imagine? They've taken my face away. Yeah, so they have the persona name, persona description, your journey goal. Remember, I talked about scope. So what scenario are you creating a user map for? You have the journey steps. So what does the user do while they're doing that? What are they feeling? What are they thinking? Whose responsibility is this? There are other lanes you can add. These are just 3. You can add more. This is not complete, but yeah, because I don't want to waste time. So what are they feeling? You can say, oh, they're angry here, they're feeling confused here, they're crying, they're feeling sad here. Like, it's literally, this is not even everything. I'm not sure what's happening here. Let me go to the other, because the user one I saw was it was similar to that, but it was let me see, user journey map. Let's see. So again, there are loads of options you can use, but I think was this one? Yeah, was this one I picked? Huh, interesting. See my face, and now it didn't show it to me. So there, and then you can see all the different things that are there. I wonder why it didn't show me everything. I opened it. Oh, use pre-filled. Got you. All right, cool. That's fine. I only want this. I hope it's going to show me everything I've asked for. Thank you. This is better. Yes, this is the one I saw that was like, okay, let's use that. Okay, so so it's already pre-filled some of the things for you. This is the phase for intrigue, anxiety, blah blah, all this stuff. So once you have the information, creating a user journey map is not difficult, because there are already a lot of templates that have done a lot of the work for you. Yeah, they've done a lot of the work for you, so you don't really have to do as much. As you can see here, let me expand on this a bit. And this is collaborative, so it already tells you how this should look. Maybe you're thinking, oh, how do I download this? I need something to help me read this correct. Like, it's already giving you ideas on how to fill some of these things. Also, what's the user thinking, all those sorts of things. So this is just one format. There are loads of others and everything. So again, if you're collaborating with people, you can get them to get a post-it note. Let me see if it'll do. Oops, sorry. Undo. I wanted to copy this. Don't know why it's not. But for Miro, most of the time you can copy and paste their sticky notes. Maybe it's not letting me do it for whatever reason, but these notes are usually not just editable, but you can copy them and then use them for different things. So for example, saying a persona key point, if you're collaborating with people, different people are writing what the key points for the persona is. So it's very collaborative. Different people are writing and they'll put the different post-it notes. Jesus, why is it doing this? Nope, that's not what I want. Yeah, I don't have any time to be playing with Miro right now. I have less than 5 minutes more. So anyway, I hope this just shows you that there are loads of tools out there that you can use that have already done a lot of the hard work for you, so you don't have to do a lot of it yourself. You literally get the information, or you get people in the room who know the information, and then they walk through the different steps for you. Remember those key things. Once you have all those key the stages, the steps, and you have your horizontal steps, the different phases. What are the touch points the user has with your organization? And then you now have what their activities are, what they're doing, thinking, feeling, and then you now have apart from before internal ownership, like I said, there's a bit here that is missing, which I would say things like pain points, or what the opportunities. What are the opportunities? I think that lane is missing here. For this as well, I'm sure you can add different columns, add as many, take the one out you don't want. So all these things are very editable. They're very user friendly, literally drag and drop. And so you don't have to spend that much time. You can even do this on PowerPoint, honestly. So there are loads of tools out there. Don't stress about. The important thing is getting the information and understanding what the technique is. And then once you get that, everything else you can just fill it in. And then if it's not correct, remember, iterate and refine. All you have to do is show them. They'll tell you, oh, change this, add this. The fact that you've done this work, most people will appreciate it. They're not going to tell you, oh, this is not correct, that's not. They'll tell you, change this, change that, add this, update this. That's what collaboration is in an organization. So don't feel, oh, I have to know everything, I have to get it right the first time. You don't. You've literally just found a way to put the information in a way that is useful to the business, and they will appreciate it. And then they'll tell you, okay, iterate this, go and find out this information, add this here, there's a column that is missing, add that, do all of that. And then you go do it, come back again, and when they're happy with it, they use it for what they needed to use it for. So don't feel the pressure of, I have to get it right the first time. Yeah. So that's pretty much all I wanted to share with you. Jack, your hand is up again. I think we have time for one more question, maybe two before we go.
Sorry.
Before 10 p.m.
Sorry, thank you. So I don't know whether it's late or I don't know anything, but you know, with the empathy stuff and like the emotions and stuff about how the customer's feeling, right? Where do you get that from? Like, who do you ask for that kind of information, or do you make it up as and when you go on?
Again, if you have behavioral information from them, you can get that information from them. Like if people tell you, rate my service, they'll give you a 2. Why? I was very upset with the way someone was way someone spoke to me. They didn't give me the information I wanted. I was upset. That's an emotion right there. They were upset. You know, you get maybe you're shadowing somebody and you see the person, hurrying, and they're like, time. You can see that person, or complaints, or the same way you get the data from. Some of that data will have some of the information. And again, like I said, even if you don't, you can do a survey, and you've filled surveys in before when they've asked you whether you liked our service and you said no, I liked yes, I liked it, no, I didn't. All those things are information. Someone writes a comment. From that comment, you can get the way they're feeling from it, or again, you can infer, if that is not existing, from the person's persona and the situation. You can infer that if you put this kind of person in this kind of situation, it will cause anger, it will cause joy. If you upgrade someone's seat person to a first class, they will love you forever and tell all their friends about you. That's happiness and joy and all of that. So you may not have the information directly, but you can empathize, you can infer that this particular situation, but most of the time you have behavioral data to support your scenario. So I hope that helped.
Yeah, I'll need to watch the videos again. Thank you.
No problem, I'm sure. And then again, read, watch videos, do all of that. Just keep getting better and getting more information. You know, it's well. Any other ad? Someone's name is Ad?
Yes, can I just add to that?
Oh, hi.
Question that Jack. So you're not going to catch me. Can I just
Can I stop recording now?
Just add to
you have to leave now, so no problem. I think you can.
Okay,
You have
that's
to leave
fine.
by 10. Yeah. Go ahead, Adele.
Just add to Jack a question. So just to answer that, like Uzo said, benchmark